In this lesson, we're going to begin building out the rest of our details. All right, so we created the shield for the cylinder, and now we want to go ahead and create the piece that just kind of brings all of the swivel and everything together. So let's go ahead and just create that very quickly, just getting started. Let's create a box, and I'm just going to create this box right up against the edge of that and bring it down, try to stick to the width of the reference image. Okay, once we have that, what we want to do now is go ahead and just convert it to editable poly. Let's take these two edges right here, and let's just scale those toward one another. Now again, if you're having a hard time scaling the edges, make sure that your center, you're using the selection center whenever you're doing that. Okay, so just simply left click and hold on that and do that. Perfect. Okay, so now let's take the polygon that's in the center, let's delete that, let's go to border mode, select it, and then we're going to use symmetry. Symmetry that along the z-axis. There you go. So let's go ahead and convert that to editable poly. And then let's go ahead and actually scale this object in a little bit. I don't want that to stick out quite so far. All right, now let's apply a turbo smooth to that. And you'll see that that smooths up, and it looks really weird at first. So let's go ahead and go to editable poly, show end result. Actually, you know what? Let's turn off this show end result. Let's just add some loops in. So I need one here, one across the top, one across the bottom, and then also one here. All right, now let's go ahead and go to turbo smooth and turn off that vertex mode. And we're looking good. We just need to harden up the edges here. So let's do that. So let's go to edge mode, select these edges right here. So you can hit ring to select that and do connect. 2 segments, and we'll pinch that. We'll spread that apart a little bit. Hit OK. There we go. So there is that piece that goes there. Let's go ahead and move it down just a little bit, okay, because we want it to come out the bottom there. Just a little bit. Okay, we don't want it to stick out too far. All right, and then just simply change its color. Okay, so that way it matches with the rest of the materials. And it looks like it's part of the object. Okay, nothing wrong with doing pieces like this. Okay, perfectly fine. All right, great. So now that we have that, let's move on to something else. Let's move on to the trigger. Trigger is going to be pretty easy to do. What I like to do with something like this is to just use a box and extrude it out, or you can use a line and trace it out. Either way, it's totally up to you. I'm going to go ahead and just use, actually let's use a cylinder on it, because we do have these cylindrical shapes on it. So we'll pull that out, something like that. I'm just going to put that into position. And I'm looking at this polygon right here, and I want that to start out the trigger. And so I'm going to go ahead and just convert it to editable poly. And let's go ahead and scale that up. There we go. And I know that's sticking out the top there. That's perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, we'll take care of that. So with this, let's go to polygon mode. And we're going to select that polygon. And again, I'm not worried about the thickness. I'm just getting the shape right now. The thickness on that will be really easy to take care of. It's a fairly simple shape. And so we'll go ahead and just extrude that out. Take this polygon, or this vertex here, and we'll just start to match this up. So then we'll go ahead and extrude. Okay, there we go. And then we'll go ahead and we'll put that. And then we're going to go ahead and extrude this. And I just go ahead and continue to extrude that till it stays pretty much with the shape of the trigger that I've created. All right, so let's go ahead and go to vertex mode, put that at the end, and there we go. Now if you don't get the entire shape, that's perfectly fine, because again, this is going to be smoothed out. And so just kind of redistribute those vertices the best that you can. All right, so there's that. Now let's go ahead and isolate that and because I want to take care of the polygons that we have up here. Some of these are just not going to be important. They're never going to be seen. So what I would do is just come in and just connect these. Maybe do like a connection here and then connect across. So we'll do a cut on that one. And then we could do the same thing over here. Here and there. All right, so there's that. Now the problem that we have with this is that it's sticking out the top of that. So let's hit F3, and what I'll do is I'll just move the vertices down. Okay, nothing wrong with that whatsoever. In fact, if I want to be clean about it, I'll just take these vertices and just make them planar in the Y direction, just kind of flatten it off and bring it down. So that way, whenever it pivots, like for an animation or something like that, it'll pivot and these points won't ever come out the top. Okay, so however you want to do that. All right, so now let's go ahead and scale this down. And I want to scale it along its center. And so we could do this by selecting all the polygons and then scaling it down that way. Okay. There we go, scale that. All right, now let's go ahead and center it up on the frame. So let's go to our Move tool and let's Effect Pivot Only and let's center that to the object. And then let's go ahead and set the X value to 0. And there we go. So now we just need to add Turbo Smooth to this. And let's bump that up to 3, Isoline Display, and Show End Result, go to Editable Poly, and let's start adding those segments in just to retain some of that value or volume. And let's go ahead and plug that in there. One here. Okay. And then if we take a look at our Turbo Smooth, Show End Result on that, you know, there's our trigger. There are a couple of things that I do want to take care of, like this curve here. It's not quite met with the reference image. So let's add in another segment. And I'm going to add it right here. And then I'm going to go to vertex mode, and I'm just going to bring that up. Okay, just like that. And there we go. Okay. So now we've got that all set. Got our trigger ready to go. Let's hit Alt-X so we can see that. You could go ahead and you could add a little bit more detail to that if you want. We could flare it out some. So like these polygons that are on the side. We could go ahead and take both of those just up to this point here. Let's hit F3 so we make sure we get all of those even all the way up to the top. And then we'll just simply use our scale tool, and I'm going to scale those out. And what that does is just creates a little bit of thickness there to that. It kind of rounds off that edge, and it looks kind of neat. And let's go ahead and take these corner edges, and I'm going to go ahead and scale those down. Let's go ahead and go to convert that to a vertex selection. So I'll hold Control and do that. And let's scale this using our edge normal. Let's scale it down in the Z. So you see how it kind of rounds off there. Cool. All right, so not really that much to a trigger. I mean, if you wanted to go ahead and add a little bit more detail to that, you're more than welcome to. If you want to sharpen up the edges a little bit more, you can simply inset the sides. And notice as you begin to inset that, that gets a little bit sharper there. So do something like 0.1. Hit OK. There you go. All right, so there's our trigger. Let's go ahead and move on to our next lesson where we're going to work on the hammer. So I'll see you then.